My name's Simon Wythe from Desire RC Limited. We're here today to talk a little bit more about the flexibility of the Vufine micro HDMI display. For those of you who aren't familiar with it, it's a micro screen that can be used to take in an HDMI high definition feed. What we're going to do today is talk a little bit more about how we can use this in association with other equipment so we can maximize the efficiency of it. Okay, so what we've got on the table today, we've got a bunch of different bits and pieces here, and I'm going to be bringing my Inspire airborne camera as well, the Inspire 1, in a second or two. But what we've got on the desk, we've got a couple of HDMI leads, we have two power banks. For those of you who aren't familiar with these things, they're basically a USB battery. So on this one in particular, I use this a lot for my stuff that I do outside for camera work and so on. It happens to have 3 USB ports and it's a high capacity battery, so it'll charge up things like iPhone, iPad, my Vufine, other devices, or power them at the same time that I actually want to use them. This is just a smaller version of the same thing. Also on the desk I have a CCD camera. This is the sort of thing that's used for things like first-person view. It can be used as a camera to mount on a stick somewhere, or use it for whatever device you want to do. It's basically just a camera, and this is just a screen cover. Then I have this little device. This is off the shelf. It's a 5.8 gigahertz video transmitter. So basically this takes the camera feed through this device, transports that wirelessly over the air to a device like this one. This happens to be a screen with behind it is a 5.8 gigahertz receiver. So the signal comes from the camera to the transmitter, to the receiver, and to the screen. Also on the desk I have a couple of other items. This one, which is an analog to HDMI converter, upscaler they call it. Basically what it does, it will take an analog signal in and push out a high definition upscaled image. Also on the desk I have this little device. This is a neat little device. I love it. Basically, it has one output to a single screen. In this case, it's going to be our Vufine screen, and up to 3 HDMI inputs. Why I've got this will become apparent a little bit later on. It also has a remote control. Basically, what I'm going to use it for, and show you how it's used, is to bring in multiple HDMI feeds. So, for example, from this little box, and also my Inspire 1 HDMI feed, the actual feed from the Inspire 1 main onboard camera. What I'm going to do is combine all these things together so that the Vufine can be switched to watch any one of these screens. So I, as a pilot, for example, I'm legally required to keep an eye on the aircraft, an unaided visual line of sight of the aircraft. You might be using it for, I don't know, one of my users use it as a rowing aid. He's a cox on a rowing boat. He's clearly facing forward and he wants to see what's behind him. And he may have a couple of cameras that he wants to actually switch between. So, in essence, that's it. And we're going to cut now, and then in a few seconds time move on to how this equipment starts to get connected together. Okay, we're back. Now you see there's a little bit more equipment on the table. What I've actually done, I brought my Inspire 1. I've connected the main onboard camera. This is the main camera that has the direct HDMI feed in this case. The FPV camera, the board camera, and on the back, you can probably see it on here now, I've actually connected the video transmitter, the analog video transmitter, 5.8 gigahertz. So basically what's happening, there are 2 lots of cameras on this Inspire now. One, the board camera, transmitting an analog signal back to this. You can see up here, which is this video here. And the second one is the HDMI direct feed, which is coming from the camera on board the Inspire via its own internal systems, and it's being transmitted via the controller via, again, an HDMI out feed to this camera. This is a monitor for that, and I can show you this one. Okay. Now, great. Normally what I would want to try and do as a pilot, I want to have my eye on everything. It's useful, obviously, if I've got a second operator that's controlling the camera, for example, moving the camera up and down or from side to side, whatever I need to do. That's great. But as the pilot, I really do need to have an eye on what the camera is looking at and where the aircraft is at any given time. It's all very well having visual line of sight, but I've got a camera operator or a director of photography or whatever telling me I need to go a little bit left, I need to go a little bit right, up, down, whatever, and to basically frame the shot. Something like this, the Vufine micro HDMI screen, is particularly useful in those instances. All I would do is attach it to my glasses, and I can see the direct feed from either or both of those cameras at any given time. How do I do that? Well, normally, under normal circumstances, I would have to physically plug this through an adapter into my transmitter, in this case a DJI transmitter, which has the direct HDMI feed. That's great, but then I can't see the FPV camera, this one. I can't see what is being seen from the front. So how do I do that? I utilize these control boxes, these adapter boxes that I mentioned to you earlier. This one is an AV to HDMI feed or converter box. And this one can take up to 3 HDMI direct feeds and concentrate them into one. And this is where I would either plug the Vufine directly into this one, if I wanted to have access to 2 or more cameras. If I just want to have access to the FPV camera, I just plug it into this feed. So let's try it out. What I'll do is I'll do one at a time, and in the next section of the video in a couple seconds time, and hopefully it'll become a bit clearer. I can connect it all up and show you what it actually looks like. Okay. What you see in front of you now is the HDMI feed. This is the feed that's coming directly from the onboard main camera. And what I'm going to attempt to do now is switch it to the FPV view. And there we go. So now you're seeing the FPV view. Apologise, this is very difficult to see, but I'm hoping you can see that it actually switches between the two. Now, under normal circumstances, what would happen is you would probably, almost certainly, not be looking at a double feed like this. You'd probably just be looking at this to take an analog signal out as the pilot or as the cox or as the camera, main camera guy, so that you can just simply see the image or look through the image to frame it to make sure that you're in the right position and so on. So I hope that's given you a little bit of a guide into what's going on. This is very sort of proof of concept at the moment. I've just literally bought some of these components. I'm hoping over the next couple of weeks to acquire a few more components to make this more of a practical solution for people that they can ask me to build for them, to buy from me if necessary, or just to build them themselves. But really, the whole idea is to show you just how versatile this HDMI screen is. Even if you can't get a direct digital feed to it, you can frig it by using adapters that actually change or upscale an AV standard video feed, analog video feed, to HDMI. Any questions? Post them on my website, contact me via my website, and I'll do my best to help you. Thank you again. Bye-bye.